Welcome back to our channel. So I hope you are all well. So for this session, we're going to talk about jaundice in neonates because I have seen people asking about. I've seen some children whereby the eyes are yellow in color, so they're asking what is the cause of that. So for today's session, we are going to go through jaundice, that is that yellowing that you see uh, in the babies, in the neonates, that is 0 to 28 days. We call them neonates. So we are going to just have a rough idea, not into so much details, okay, so that you can just understand what is going on. Why does the eyes appear yellow, or the skin, and much more. So jaundice, it basically means the yellowish discoloration. So it can happen at the sclera. So it's this white part. There's this black and then this white part at the eye, in the eye, this one. So the yellowing discoloration of the sclera, it's called the sclera. We can have the membranes. Example, it's visible below the tongue here. Yeah. Then for the neonates, we can appreciate jaundice by discoloration, the yellow discoloration of the skin. Okay. So for this jaundice, we can classify it into two, whereby we have the unconjugated and conjugated. Okay. So the bilirubin, we can just have a brief summary where the bilirubin comes from. So for the red blood cells, they are usually broken down. Example, for the normal RBCs in adults, they have a normal lifespan of around 120 days. So when they are broken down, they produce something called heme and globin. So this heme is converted into biliverdin. Then biliverdin is converted into bilirubin. Now this bilirubin, we are going to see the fate of this bilirubin, okay? So this bilirubin, it has to be, first it binds to albumin in the liver. Then while in the liver, it's supposed to be conjugated, because the unconjugated, it is lipid soluble, like it's not water soluble. So it has to be conjugated, yeah, so that it can be water soluble. So in the liver, it is conjugated, then it is secreted now into the bile duct, then into the intestines. Now it arrives the intestines, whereby this conjugated bilirubin, it is broken down by the gut flora, that is the bacteria in the gut, into urobilinogen and stacobilin. So urobilinogen, it's excreted via urine. That's why you see the yellowing of the urine. And stacobilin, through feces. That's why our feces are that brown or yellowish in color. Okay. So for the neonates, we can classify them into two, this jaundice. We can have the physiological jaundice, which is just a normal reaction that occurs for these small babies, these neonates. And the other one, we can have pathological jaundice. So for this physiological jaundice, it occurs on day 2 to day 4 of life. So when the baby is born, it can occur within day 2 to day 4 of life. So it occurs in just even healthy, it occurs in healthy neonates, okay? So it's always the unconjugated bilirubin here. And for the pathological, it occurs within 24 hours after birth. Example, the baby has been born, so within 24 hours after delivery. If we have jaundice, that is pathological, okay? So for the physiological jaundice, the one that occurs like day 2 to day 4, so reasons as to why it appears, here we have increased production of bilirubin, okay? Because here in neonates, red blood cells lifespan is reduced, so there is that increased destruction and increased production of bilirubin. Okay, another one, we have decreased conjugation. Okay, because there are some decrease in some enzyme that's supposed to do that. So if it is decreased, so there is also decreased conjugation. It presents as jaundice. Then we also have a decreased hepatocellular uptake. Okay, we won't nani with that. Another reason is increased enterohepatic circulation, because in neonates they lack the intestinal bacterial flora. The bacteria, okay, for a neonate is almost sterile, so they don't have the bacteria yet. So it increases the enterohepatic circulation. So yeah. Then for the unconjugated now, the pathological one that we've said it occurs within 24 hours after delivery, we can classify them into two again. We have hemolysis present and hemolysis absent. Hemolysis just refers to the destruction of the red blood cells. Okay. Yeah, so it presents with that dark urine, jaundice, the yellowing, and all that. So for when hemolysis is present, what are the common causes of this jaundice with hemolysis? One, we can have blood group incompatibility. That is whereby we have the mother is blood group O and the baby is blood group A or B or AB. So there is that ABO incompatibility. So there is a risk of jaundice. Another reason, when the mother is rhesus negative, whereby maybe it's blood group O negative and the baby is rhesus positive, maybe O positive or B positive, something like that. We can also have some infections. We can also have this other inborn errors. We can have the hemoglobinopathies, enzymopathies, all that. So that's not for now, we just leave it. Then for the where hemolysis is absent now, we can have something called breast milk jaundice and breastfeeding jaundice. Breast milk jaundice, it's from the breast milk of the mother. And breastfeeding, we are going to look at each one of them. Okay, and we have hypothyroidism, whereby we have this thyroid gland here. Maybe there's decreased production of the thyroid hormone, so it can also lead to jaundice. Okay, and we have some mutation of some enzymes. What are the risk factors? Who is at risk? We will classify them into maternal, where are the features from the mother, and the fetal risk factors. Okay, so for the maternal, as we have seen, we have blood group, that is ABO incompatibility and the rhesus. Okay, we also have maternal diabetes. When the mother is diabetic, also predisposes the baby to jaundice. We also have genetic. Example, there is that G6PD. Okay, you're going to check about it. Deficiency also predisposes the baby. And if the mother has ever given birth to a jaundiced baby, so most likely the other babies, there is that risk of them acquiring the jaundice. For the fetus, or then for the fetal factors, one, prematurity. When these premature babies are most prone to acquiring jaundice, the male sex, the male gender, they are also predisposed to jaundice. We have breastfeeding, we're going to look at it, and we have infections. Okay, so I'll just rush through breastfeeding and breast milk jaundice. So for breastfeeding jaundice, if there is insufficient milk from the mother, the mother has given birth and the baby wants to suck and there's no enough milk from the mother. So when there's that insufficient breast milk from the mother, so there is lack of calories and there's inadequate food for the child. So means that there'll be decreased intestinal movement because there is no food that is going through the intestine, so there is no much activity there, so peristalsis will be reduced. Okay, so if it reduces, then it will increase the enterohepatic circulation that we have seen. When the enterohepatic circulation increases, we have increased reabsorption of the bilirubin from the intestines. Then it leads to the when there is increased reabsorption of now the bilirubin, we are going to have raised levels of that bilirubin. That's what we'll call hyperbilirubinemia. But for this case, unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia. Okay. So for this onset, as we have seen, it's within 1 week. Okay, so for this treatment, it's breastfeeding because we've said that there is that reduced intestinal activity because there is no food, there is no breast milk for this child, for this neonate. So what is the cause? Increase breastfeeding. Look for milk whenever you're going to find it. You can supplement with maybe naan and all that, but so that you can increase the intestinal activity. Okay, so for this other one, that you've seen is breastfeeding jaundice. Now we have breast milk jaundice. Okay, so for breast milk jaundice, this comes from the mother. There's is it an enzyme? It's called glucuronidase enzyme. This is from the breast milk of the mother. So when it's given to the baby, it's an inhibitor to the conjugation of bilirubin. You see? So if there's no conjugation, yeah, we've talked about this. So for breast milk, this enzyme inhibitor is from the breast milk from the mother. Okay, but for breastfeeding, it's inadequate feeding. All right, yeah. So if you see these features, kindly just go to the nearest facility. They will manage all that. Okay, but for the breastfeeding jaundice, you just feed the baby and they'll be okay, but still seek medical consultation for further management. We can have other thousands causes of this jaundice, so we don't just assume it's breastfeeding jaundice. Okay, so with all that, I think for now that was it for now, but there's just much more about jaundice. And in case you have encountered a baby that has presented with these features, please seek immediate medical consultation from the nearby facility. Okay. The other one, we've talked about unconjugated. We also have conjugated, but I think we'll do another video for that. I felt that it was necessary for us to discuss this one first because we see it a lot, and most of the people, we assume it's just normal. We just assume many things, but it's good to have the knowledge and to know what to do in case you see someone or you even experience such a scenario. Okay, yeah, so see you next time. Thank you for being around. Kindly subscribe to this channel. We want to keep on moving, giving you more content, more educative material about our health and just taking care of our bodies. Yeah, so thank you for being around. I will invite questions. Kindly type, just send your comments. Yeah, if you have questions surrounding this topic or somewhere you've not understood, kindly reach out. Yeah, so subscribe to our YouTube channel You can also follow my Facebook page. I post a lot about health. You can just learn a lot, not for our own benefit, but for the benefit of others and the whole community at large. Yeah, me and you, we can make a difference through this information that we acquire. So see you next time and bye.